Welcome to the Proper Scoundrel Show.
Hugo,
Adam,
thanks for coming out, man.
it was long overdue.
So how's things?
Good. Things, fall in place like everything, just when you least expect it, everything falls in place.
You would have been in a different mood if the Dodgers had lost, huh?
No, because I'm not a Dodger fan. So either way,
Hey, they pay your bills, bro.
they do. It's like, Rams and Chargers, if you ask me, at a certain time frame during the games, hey, what's the score or who's pitching or who's the quarterback?
No,
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't follow the sports.
But you played sports.
I did.
So you were in Homicide for a while.
I was in Homicide 11 and a half years.
11 and a half years.
11 and a half.
Oh, okay.
And
I was kidding about 5 minutes. I knew you did in a long time. I'm just messing.
It felt like it. I'm telling you. It went quick.
Those are like dog years.
Yes. That's exactly what it was.
Well, Long Beach is a big city. I mean, a huge city. But, you and me are boys. I would ask our Homicide guys, hey, you know Cortes? You know Cortes? Because you guys always work together.
Yes.
And like Mark Linfield, you know a lot of the OGs, Bob Kenny, the names,
Correct. I work a lot with them.
And I know. But you know those guys.
Yes.
They'll tell you what they think.
Oh, there's no shame. And they won't sugarcoat it.
I love those guys. They're legends in Homicide.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And there's several more. And I would go up to those guys because I think they're up here. Hey, you worked with Cortes in that case, and I want to get some shit to talk shit to you.
Right.
But they always said, oh, no, dude, he's a great detective. Great detective. Great detective. Oh, Hugo's the best. Hugo's the best. I'm looking for dirt.
Right.
Because I know we're going to go have dinner and I'm going to mess with you. Why'd you mess up that case? Hugo, I heard about that. But I never got it.
Right.
So I'm trying to tell you is your reputation with my guys who are the standard was very high.
I loved all the guys that helped us out. They bent over backwards for us. And I try to do the same. But when it came to the homicide cases, we all came as one.
Yeah, you have to.
Whatever, and you were part of my investigations too. Whatever I did, whatever I thought it would work. If we didn't have the resources, sheriffs did. They always bent over backwards for us. Just another case that you helped me out with. To get some the simple things as jail recordings. That was my last resort. And
I'm not calling at him to the last minute.
No. You were the first one because it was very important. It was the Mexican Mafia murder hit, on one of their own. And I worked up the case, worked up the victim, worked up the suspects, no witnesses as usual, and it's like, well, how the hell am I going to make this? Started doing the warrants. I got very lucky, and I wind up recovering the murder weapon from one of the suspects. Still not enough, but just enough to keep him in there. And it was one of those where doing as I saw the more experienced investigators in the beginning do. You throw you start doing everything. And something will stick. Meaning, with my case, all I had was just, a vehicle, that was observed by a guy that was going to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Saw the vehicle, just stopped resting against the house.
Yeah.
A couple of little bullet holes here and there. So he calls it in. We get there, and that poor victim, got shot up, pretty bad. So
what happened? They walk up on him?
No. At the end. Because they were after him, they befriended him, and they got in the car with him.
They were in the car with him.
They were in the car with him,
okay.
And once the hit was approved, they picked the right time, the right place, and they befriended him. There was 2 guys with the victim inside the vehicle, kind of lured him away from a certain area, and just shot and killed him. Everybody got off the car, as the victim is trying to leave, lost consciousness and veered.
Oh, he was still trying to drive away.
Okay. Yeah. So, with nothing, no witnesses, to follow, now it was my turn to investigate, the victim. Okay, why did this poor guy, get killed? So I started learning, his history, and it turned out that he was collecting, money for the Mexican Mafia, there in our area. Then turned out that he was not in good grace with some of the members, and that led to him getting shot. So I knew it was a hit. I knew it was Mexican Mafia, related. Now, the question was, how am I going to prove it?
Yeah.
I did, all the work up on the victim. Did all the cell phone records, for the last 6-7 months, and painstakingly, I narrowed it down, to his closest associate plus 2 other guys that had just gotten, into the picture. And, it just dawned on me. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna see if any of these, calls, any of these numbers made it through, the LA County, jail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So lo and behold, here you go. You came into play. I made the request, through you. You gave me a set. During that process, we wind up doing warrants on a couple of the guys. One was in San Pedro. He was another heavy hitter. Another one that had just come out of prison, and the very last guy that came out of prison, he was our local, the one from San Pedro. He was the lieutenant, basically.
Okay, yeah.
For that area.
Yeah.
And the local guy discovered that our guy was not doing good, so they decided, to do a hit, and they planned it out real well. Long and short of the story, when we did the warrant, on the guy in San Pedro, we wound up recovering, the murder weapon in his safe. Couldn't link him to anything, at the beginning, but we did a parole violation on him, took him out of the picture, waited for the results. At that point, I didn't know, that was the murder weapon that we had found. He wound up, going to county jail. We monitored his calls. We did everything that we could, possibly. 3, 4, 5 months later, I get the information. Hey, that's your murder weapon. It's like, all right, cool.
Damn.
But still, not enough, to say, yeah, you did it. You shot, the guy. So how am I going to do it? The experience, crooks.
They know.
They won't tell us.
But I'm gonna say it here, dude. They still do sometimes.
They do. They do in a certain way.
My experience. I'm telling you. Of course, Hugo. I get it, dude. I'm just saying. Sometimes you think this guy is no way, and then all of a sudden you just go, oh damn, he's just gonna spit it out like that.
Oh yeah.
It depends on the situation, and stimulation works.
Yeah. But with these 2 guys, they were higher ups.
They're the top.
No way.
They knew the system, brother. Yeah. I get it. Yours was a hard one.
Yeah. So it took me about a year when I wound up having a good report with our DA's office, and some of the judges that were handling the cases, our homicide cases, and I had asked for a favor, for the guy that we found with the gun. I go, hey, we only have him for parole violation. I don't have much. 6 months, down. I still don't have much. And he was going to be released within I think 8-9 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding you. Within like a week before, I get the notification, hey, this guy's about to get released. We can't hold him anymore. We did you solid, and and that's as long as we could do. We could keep him. Your work, provided me with several recordings, jail recordings, and these were from numbers that came from part of my victim's phone, and then part of the suspect's phones, and then part of the San Pedro, the
affiliation.
That suspect.
You got the affiliation. Yeah.
So it took me probably about a month to go, through those jail calls, and I wasn't hitting anything, man. At the beginning, nothing was coming up.
Yeah.
The second to the last, I was already, just demoralized. Like, okay, this guy's going to be walking out. I don't have nothing on the San Pedro guy. I don't have nothing on my local guy. All I have them, same thing. We wound up doing a parole violation for association. So they were going to get out, And second to the last call, I get the magic call, from Long Beach guy talking to another Long Beach guy, letting him know, hey, we're going to do it. We almost did it, 2 days ago, but we didn't have the right opportunity. It's this time. We caught him dirty, and we're going to wind up sending him, to the other world. So, I get excited with that one. I follow up.
You were dancing around your phone, bro.
Oh yeah. Then we
Just
get the magic
stress relief. Stress relief.
Definitely. Then we get the magic in recording, where, the day before, he goes, okay, we're going to do it. It's planned, and I'll get back to you tomorrow. So tomorrow comes, and the biggest question was, well, how does it feel, walking with the Lord? The inmate from the prison was telling our Long Beach guy, after the incident was done.
They were done.
He goes, oh, well, how does it feel walking with the Lord now? Now that, we've done, the good deed, so they were talking in codes, and
of course.
Well, it was a good blessing. It's a good blessing. It's good to be in good standing, and it's just time to move on. But the statement that, the guy made, the call before basically was saying, we're going to send him to the other world. We're just waiting for the right moment. X, Y, and Z is going to happen, and he's going to be swimming with the fishes, soon. Just with that alone, we wound up, getting the conviction. Mm-hmm. But it was one of those where the assistants, we didn't have the resources in Long Beach, to monitor the jail calls, from LA County Jail, But something, like that just broke our case, and that was the only thing outside of the murder weapon.
So that guy's in prison for life.
Yes,
because Hugo Cortes tried to steal my seat in junior high school.
I don't remember that. Okay, and I will deny it too.
That's how it started, 7th grade. I remember things. People crack up because I remember certain things. I forget most, but I remember certain things. That was how we met. Yeah, that relationship, me and you, to when you went to Long Beach and I went to Sheriff's, and you called me up and we worked some stuff out. Because LA Sheriff's, we'll help anyone.
Yes.
You guys are, I'm sure you'll attest to it. Everybody else should too, because we've never told anyone no. The only time it gets in trouble is overtime, because it's always money.
Yeah.
But you came over and you had a problem. I knew we could solve it because, you saw my shop. Yep. It was awesome. I loved helping you because I loved helping anybody who needed the help, because we all had one thing in common. Like you said, we want to get the bad guys and put them away. Right. Because these are shooters.
These are mean people.
And you don't want them in your streets, man. And you're dealing with MS, so you're dealing with the worst of the worst of the worst.
Oh, yeah.
And we dealt with that a lot in my unit, and people don't. I wish people would know how evil people work, because there is no empathy. Mm-hmm. They don't care. And not just MS, I'm talking about just killers. Right. We all want to think people have a good heart, but there's some people with zero heart, bro.
Oh, there's some evil people.
Evil. We spend our whole lives being lucky that we don't meet them, or just avoiding the ones that we don't like, we think could be. But we just that's the luck of the draw. Yeah. Because they're out there and they're just predators. They're looking for any opportunity. So you think you're walking happily through your street, they could be on the corner. You don't know. And there's so many more than you know. There's so many more than people would even imagine. Right. Because I've sat across from them, you've sat across from them. If I don't put this person away, he's going to kill someone else. Oh, yeah. Or he's going to shoot somebody else. Because the only difference between OSS and homicide is a guy died. Other than report writing, I get it.
Exactly.
I get shit for it, but I don't care. That's kind of what it was. When you came to us and we helped you out, I remember you telling me that your department really didn't think it was a good use of time. Like, they were almost frowning on the part of you, what you wanted to do, you wanted to set up a network. Mm-hmm. And the Sheriff's Department, we already set up our network, and I personally set up the network to the end with my partner.
Right.
It's covered. Right. 4,000 square miles is covered.
Right.
because of my work in my 4-man, 6-man unit. You guys are getting the same criminals, man. It's just Long Beach and sheriffs, we board each other, and we're always in each other's neighborhoods.
Right.
So why wouldn't I help you? If I can help you, you're going to help my guys, because you're going to take guys out, could possibly shoot at my guys, because, gangs, unit, and they don't care what uniform you have.
Right.
They're going to shoot at anybody. Just black and white. So every time you took a murder off the street, you're helping me, I'm helping you. We're helping our families, we're helping the neighborhood. But when I heard that your department was looking at it like, we don't know if we want to go down that route, I remember telling you, because you brought your people in.
Oh, yeah.
And they took a tour. Do you remember that?
Yep.
I pitched it to them like, we're going to do this for free for you. We're going to help you.
Right.
We're going to tell you what to get, what to buy. We're going to show you how it works physically. And you had a drill in your hand one time when I went to visit you.
Yeah. I don't know. I might have been, climbing down from the attic.
You were coming from
from
the attic because I was telling you had modules, you had pods, which is steel rooms. County is cinder block and rebar.
Right.
So we're trying to facilitate the actual deployment for a different type of material. Right. And we worked it out. You worked it out. Yeah. But we used the barrels, and there's a certain way to connect things. And you learned so fast, because within a couple months you had done had done it. We had, because we used to go do it over at your place, and then you started doing it yourself. Right. Imagine that, because they're still using your stuff.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
How many cases do you think has been solved by that?
In our department alone, we solved a lot of cases because of that, of your guys' experience, you guys' knowledge, which helped us, and that in the last 5 years, we might have solved probably about maybe 150 cases, cold cases, big cases. My biggest case was the quintuple, and that was done by you guys helping us out, you guys' knowledge, of the system, you guys' knowledge of the LA County, system.
Yeah.
That case, without the sheriff's department, and their ability, to facilitate certain things, we would have never done it. I knew who the suspect was, on that quintuple. We knew exactly who he was, where he was. Mm-hmm. We couldn't do anything. It was not until we got the assistance from the sheriff's department that it took us 3 months to solve that case, but we solved it, and it was all internal.
It's golden.
It was pure gold.
Yeah, and the people it gets lost, but they'll never know where it came from. You fought for that personally. Yes. You and I would talk on the phone all the time. Like, why don't they see the big picture? They're going to save millions of dollars over the life of this system, right, or this process, because there's a process.
Yes,
and I explained what our process was. From the time that you have a suspect is the planning stage with the sheriffs. Any investigator. Right. If they come to me, I would sit down and say, okay, Adam, I have this guy. I'm going to hook him. I'm going to go hit his house. We're going to do a warrant. We're going to do something. What do you guys want to do, or what can you do for us that will help us solve this case? Because we have a little bit, like you, but we were going to get him in custody. That's the key. We're going to take him into custody.
Correct.
And every case was different. So I would write a little plot, say, when you hit the house, this is what we're going to do in transportation. This is what we're going to do in the jail. This is what we're going to do when he goes to his visit. This is what we're going to do when he gets on the phone. Everywhere he goes, we're going to be there.
Yes.
I hope you agree. The first contact and the first day is probably the most important, because they're scared.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
They're stressed over people talking. And they get helped by that. Right. They get helped by, hey, someone might be talking. But more importantly, I don't want to give away too much, but it's who you put them in the cars with, who you put them in the cells with, who you move them around with. Yes. That's the most important stuff. If you don't plan that out, you're missing, you're missing the opportunity to solve your case.
Yes.
Like you said, second to last phone call. That would have never happened. He'd still be in the street right now.
Right.
And how many people would be dead? So when the departments and the city and everybody starts to prioritize certain things, I said, you guys don't see the big picture. Mm-hmm. We have the capability to stop so much, but you won't give us the resources or give us the training.
Yeah. And that has to, that has a lot to do with like you said, money. Money, the size of the department, the experience.
Yeah.
Bigger departments, we learn by our mistakes. We learn, what's worked, what hasn't worked. And we try to, utilize, everything in our tool belt that we have. A lot of departments don't know what tools you have in your tool belt.
None.
Speaking, for Long Beach, we were limited.
Yeah,
we were
I get it.
Big department. We were limited, but we were not afraid to ask. Just dealing with the assistance that Mark gave us when Deputy Rosa, was shot and killed in our city. That was, one of our biggest cases that we had. One of the biggest operations that we did with the assistance of the sheriff's department. It, I believe it's probably like the biggest internal investigation that we did. Not, to get into details on what we did, but no matter where the subject went, there was always somebody there, to.
Absolutely, I did training on it. And I show the videos, and I show the stuff, because I want the cops to. I do training when I teach other deputies and other officers around the country. I show them Maria Rosas,
right?
Because Maria Rosas, God rest her soul, it was a terrible situation where a deputy was killed in Long Beach off duty. She's on duty because she tried to fight. Of course, she tried to fight back and she lost her life. Terrible story, but it happened in Long Beach. That took what I'm telling you that we did for you and do for everybody. That took the capabilities of the LA County Sheriff's Department and put it in steroids.
Yes.
Because it became a priority that we got to do something different. And Mark and all those people were part of that. Mark, yes. I love the fact that I love Mark, first of all, great investigator, great guy. I love the fact that he's willing to do anything within the law to catch him. He will put himself in the cell. He'll do whatever it takes because he understands the importance of getting killers off the street. I followed his lead when he would talk to me because I look up to Mark because he's a lot, he's been around a lot longer than me, and he's got a reputation for doing great things. Him and Bob Kenny, I always talk about Bob. Great investigator too. When Maria was killed, they figured out we got to do more than what we normally do. So they did the straight stimulation, they do that kind of stuff, but the capturing became priority one. And then we realized, oh shit, this could be a standard. Yeah. Because I showed the video of them bragging about killing her. I showed the video of them reenacting it in their, I don't care, I'm going to say it right here. Everybody knows it's been adjudicated. Reenacting the shooting. I show it because I want deputies and officers to know this is possible. And it doesn't have to be, people think, oh, it's going to be a jail. No, it's way bigger than that. So I'm not giving shit away. I'm telling you, it's already been adjudicated.
Right.
That took the sheriff's department to another level. And then when we handed it to you, it took you to another level. I've been back in East Coast, and I've said it here many times. Those guys are, like you said, low budgets, less personnel, less priority towards the stuff they do because they don't get the volume we get. Right. They get like 1 or 2 murders a year sometimes, maybe up to 10 in a little bit bigger cities. Right. So it's not a big deal to them to put a lot of resources to that investigation part, the tools, because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. Yeah. But you have to have somebody like you that wants to climb up an attic and do the work. And that's what we did. So we would do it for our unit. When we gave them those tools, Hugo, I'm gonna tell you, dude, same thing as you. They're calling me saying, oh my God, dude, this guy just did this and he said that. Exactly. Now what are you doing? You're moving on to your next case. Right. So your city's now seeing the importance of freeing up their officers by doing these things. You paid some money up front, right? But you're saving millions over time. Just in man hours, lawyers, pre-trials, retrials, all that stuff. Right. So I loved it, but it was really cool because you said your department kind of looked sideways at you when you wanted to
money.
Bring these new tools in and spend the money. And when I said I wanted to help you, they were like, we don't have time. Because we were doing all of our stuff. Right. 7th grade. Yeah. That was me fighting to help you more than we normally helped, because we helped a lot. But dude, we're always over there because that's Hugo, we're going. I don't care who's in the car, we're going. And so we'd always take side routes from our real jobs to go visit you.
Right.
Hard to talk to you on the phone. I talk to you on the phone all the time. The extra, you got special privilege, bro. You got.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to deny it. I know I did, because I would just, it would have, taken, somebody else, to get the information, a couple of weeks, because you guys were inundated with, your own work, the work of other agencies, and then for me to come along and just, hey, Adam, I need this. Hey, Adam, what do you think about that? Oh yeah, no problem. Here you go.
Here's some wire, Adam. Here's some wire. Hugo, take this thing. Take
Here,
that.
try this. Try that.
Hey, no one's looking. Take that with you.
I know.
You try to give me stuff back. I go, just keep it.
So trust me, I was blessed.
It was fun though, but I was a bigger picture again.
It was.
It was a bigger picture. You were killing over there.
It was. The amount of years that I put in. They were worth it. They were worth it. Very productive. We solved quite a few cases. I solved most of my cases. I think I had like an 85% clearance rate. So
that's huge.
It's big. If you're a homicide investigator, you'll get. They recommend you get no more than 2-3 cases. We had I must have had like 10, 15 a year. Whoa. Maybe a couple of officer involved shootings in between, or other investigations. So we're busy,
dude. For homicide.
It's a lot. Oh, it was a lot for
I know the numbers for ours. That's huge.
Yeah. So I think for the most part we would average anywhere from 10 to 15, sometimes 16.
Damn.
Sometimes you get stuck, or take over somebody else's case. But for the most part, everybody, we came together when it was time to help out, with the cases. When we could do it, within our department, we did it. But when we needed, the special resources, then, we went out and requested, And like I'm telling you, my biggest case, I wouldn't have had a conviction or anything if it would not been, for.
You might have figured it out anyway, Hugo. You never know. Sometimes things come up later, like you might have done something later or some snitch. A lot of times snitches come later. Like, I got some info for you. I know where the gun is and I know why you did it.
You still got to prove it.
Of course, I get it.
You still got to prove it. And I've learned, you got to have 3, ace cards in your pocket. Mm-hmm. You lose one, at least you have 2 others to go.
They won't even file it with less than 2.
Oh no, yeah, So, and this is some, as I learned, I learned that you cannot just go with one little piece of evidence, to solve a case. You need to have multiple. You're not going to know how good or how bad you did on a homicide case. It's not going to be until 5-6 years down the road when you go to court. That's when you get your butt handed to you by some of the most experienced attorneys, defense attorneys, and you learn. You learn quick. After those first 5 years, then it gets much funner because now you know what to do. You know what to expect. You know what they're going to be nitpicking about. You know how to protect your case, how to protect yourself. So
yeah, I gotta say that I tell people all the time that hated court. I loved testifying.
Oh yeah, me too.
I love testifying. People were scared. I seen deputies sweating, and I loved it, dude. I was like, when am I going up? I said, because I don't want to sit in the hallway.
See, like with me, I was privileged because I had to sit in court. And
that's the thing. We did too. It also, you sit through the whole thing. You're the guy sitting next to the attorney. Mm-hmm. I didn't like that part. I like when I went up.
Right.
But you sit there, so it's a privilege because you get to hear everything. Right. You get to hear what everyone says. You
get to listen to the officers testify. You get to listen to everything.
And it's your case, so you know what's supposed to be said and what's not supposed to be said, and who's forgetting things and who's not telling the truth. Because your witnesses go up there, they change their stories all the time because they're scared. They're looking at the guy who shot him or did something, and they start to waver. That's all right. As long as you got a good DA to come back and fix it and ask the right questions, you can rehabilitate your witnesses all the time.
A good experienced, DA, will come back and on the rebound and he will clarify.
Sometimes they need that note though, dude.
Oh yeah, many times. Dude. I learned that, the hard way. Thinking, hey,
he caught it.
You're the attorney. Man. You got all these years, in practice, and you don't need me.
A quick story. I had a confession on a gangster who stabbed another person. He playing basketball, walked up to a person in the park and just shanked him, just stabbed him over a girl. Yeah. I got a confession, a written confession.
Yeah.
I got him to do the whole, he was drunk thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing. I did it all.
Right.
So because they think it's a lesser. He was Mirandized a whole bit. But I'm like, you know, you do the thing. Like, why did you stab him? Oh, you were drunk. Oh, yeah, been drinking all day. And they think that's an excuse.
Right.
Well, yeah, you've been drinking, but you shouldn't have stabbed the guy anyways, right? So he wrote me the confession. You know how you do it. So I'm waiting to be called to testify because I have to testify for the confession.
Right.
She rests.
Yeah.
Doesn't even put in the confession.
Right.
So I get the call that he was not acquitted. Yeah, he was acquitted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's acquitted. When I was supposed to come? When did you call? Why didn't you call me? She says, well, I didn't. She starts getting all nervous. I said, you had a confession.
I didn't think I needed, that evidence, so. Oh, yeah, no, I know. I know. And,
dude, I called her boss. I was so mad. How do you not put a confession in? I know it's not admissible without the person who took it. That's me. So I'm waiting. Mm-hmm. She never called. Yeah. That's what you're talking about, frustration.
Oh yeah, and it's heartbreaking, especially like on the big cases. You put in so much work for it, and you're assuming everything's going to go well, and from one minute to another, everything
it's bad.
goes sideways.
It can go bad fast, but
one of our officers that was killed back in 2000, Daryl Black, working gangs. He was ambushed, by three gangsters. Him and his partner. We had our briefing. We had lunch before the incident. So it hits home.
Oh, of course it does.
When when
it touches you hard because you bring all that back. It brings everything back. I was there for Jerry's, not when he got shot, but I helped when we responded. He was a friend, just like you say, And then G12, I had lunch with him before he was killed. These things we're not going to tell everybody, but it's the truth, and it's not. We're not robots. It hurts.
Well, it definitely does, but you have to, maintain,
of course,
your emotions, at a level where it's not going to affect the outcome.
It shouldn't be seen. No one should know it's there. And you hold it in and you hide it, and it shouldn't be seen by anyone. And then cops do a good job of hiding from each other. That's why I started this podcast. Many times I'm going to say it again. It's because I'm trying to give an outlet to the guys because we're getting a lot of cops that are doing the wrong thing to themselves. And so getting in here, talking and laughing and joking, it sounds silly, but I get so much feedback after they come on, and I get so much feedback from guys who watch.
Right.
Like, oh man, that's cool. That sounds like it's fun. It's just a venting time. I'm gonna go where I always go with this podcast. Sense of humor. Mm-hmm. It's been misrepresented because I get so many freaking trolls. You guys are laughing about this. You guys are laughing about that, and I try to say it. It's not laughing at the person. We're laughing about something we're talking about, and we can actually separate from what's laying in a room. Like I can walk into a room with a decapitated body, and I can go up to you and talk to you about something we did last week and laugh about it. Oh yeah. Now it's terrible that person is there, and it's terrible the situation that put them there. Right. But we can separate. We can say, I'm not part of that. Right. I mean, we're in another planet. Because we do it so much, to deal with that every time you go out, you have to separate yourself from the scene. You have to. Right. You don't carry it. You don't walk around crying because someone's dead, because you would never be able to do the job. Correct. You would never think clearly enough to get cases solved. Right. You have to focus somewhere else. So when I walk up to you and you're next to a body in the tape, and I haven't seen you in a while, I'm going to do what I normally do, go straight to you and just make fun of you, and we're going to talk and laugh about something we did. Right. And the people watching are going, oh, they're laughing at this person on the ground. You cannot do this job. No, I don't care what anyone says. If you take every case and carry it, you'll hurt yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. And to a certain extent, you do have to carry it, but you cannot let it affect you.
Well, it's work. You carry it as work.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I take every case. I want to solve them all. Mm-hmm. I want them. I'll stay there all night and day. My family knows you won't see me when I'm into something. And I'm going to write paper. We're going to hit houses. When you start something and you get that lead, you can't let it slide and say, "I'll get it next week." You got to go right now because things move.
Correct.
So they're thinking, well, I'm thinking, I'll work hard when I know I have to, but I'm going to take a break in between, man, because it's a lot of freaking work.
It's a lot of work, and to be good at it, you have to put in a lot of work.
All the time.
That's one of the things, that I learned. There's a good, statement that somebody had made. when we were training a couple of newer homicide investigators, it's like, okay, it's either you're gonna to be telling everybody you're from homicide, but you're not gonna like to do the work that homicide does. So it's a big difference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to. You can't fake it.
You can't fake it. You got to put in, extra time on everything. On your cases, you gotta. I remember, I would average maybe 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Sometimes even longer. That's not including the call outs. In the middle of the night. So you have to invest. To be good at it, you have to put in a lot of work. Into it.
To be good at it, you have to give up your own time.
Correct.
There's no other way to do it.
And getting back to, just joking around and all that, it seems you got to keep sane. And you're not doing it, to disrespect, the victim, to disrespect, the victim's family. For me, the true victims were, if it was gang-related incident, it's the family.
Yeah, of course.
Even the suspects. Believe it or not, people would ask me, well, why the suspects? They're the crooks. Well, they're not the ones that are going to be suffering.
Their parents, their families, of course.
If you remember, being in court, the only ones that would show up at court would be the victim's family and the suspects, parents.
Yep.
So for me, thinking about it as a parent, it was heartbreaking. Seeing them.
That's why I've seen it happen. I've never put what a kid did on the parents.
Correct.
And I've seen it happen so many times because there's some cops that don't know how to act. And it used to irritate me. And I would say something. If it was my case, I would have them step out.
Yeah.
Because you and I came from the neighborhood. And everyone has family members that don't walk the right path.
Right.
So I know an aunt my cousin doesn't do right. I know how she doesn't stay up. She stays up all night long worrying about him. How she calls me for, how can you help him and what can you give him rehab? We all have family members. Right. So to say that because this person is bad, it's always the parent's fault is wrong. And it's so, it's cheap and it's freaking lazy. Because most parents that I dealt with were hardworking people. Mm-hmm. And the reason why the kid was in the street is because whatever reason. I'm not going to say because they're all different. Right. But a lot of it is like me. My parents were never home because they were always at work. Right. So you do a lot on your own. And those distractions are always there if you don't have supervision. Right. But how are you going to take care of the bills if you don't work? So I understand it all. But I've never transferred that whatever that person did to the parents. I've always looked at them with empathy because I've always put myself in their shoes because I can relate to it. Right. Not from personal, my family, but people I've seen.
And, and that's the key thing. You cannot relate what the suspect, did to everything else. You focus on the suspect, that's your primary, function. Family of the suspect, family of the victims.
Yeah.
It's a whole different.
Yeah.
It's a whole different section. In a homicide case, every case that I picked up, if I picked up a new case, I would pick up new drama, new problems, from the victim's family.
Yeah.
Their problems became my problems.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in my life for at least,
you're picking them up, you're driving to court a lot of times, you're subpoenaing them, you're seeing them all the time.
Yes.
And you end up getting into like relationship with both sides. I mean, you actually do because it just happens. It just happens.
It's the nature.
It's the worst thing is when you're in court and you see even with whatever the verdict is, they're both miserable.
Yeah.
No one's happy because he's going to prison because their person is still passed. No one's happy on that side because they're going to lose this person forever. Yeah. And I've actually talked to people that were the bad people.
Right.
And they were like, thank you for not making it worse, I guess. I know I put your kid in prison, right, but I didn't drag them through mud. And they're apologetic because they know what they did because it was obvious. I had a call out with my partner, Ron Duvall, where a gangster was killed in Valinda Flats. And we rolled to it. And when I got there, body was still there. He was already, there's nothing they could do for me. He was dead when they showed up. And it was a tagger. He had tagged a wall like he was putting his... I'm not going to say what gang he was from, but he was in the wrong place tagging.
Right.
And the tag was, he did like 4 letters, and the last letter was just the paint going down like this. to where he was laying with the spray can.
Right.
So they killed him. They shot him in the back of the head while he was tagging. He didn't hear them coming up behind him.
Right.
Because he was so big into writing his placa on the side of the wall. So I show up, and I think it was Bob Kenny was there. And they're trying to deal with the whole situation because he had been there a while before anybody. He had been there. The person who found him drove by, there's two people, there's a boy and a girl. They drive by and they see the body. So the body had been there a while. They see the body, and they both look at it, and the boyfriend makes the decision, I'm just going to drive home and I'll come back. Right. So he goes back home. It's only around the block, like maybe half a block. So he parks the car and runs back. Mm-hmm. And then he runs back to the girl, and he tells the girl, it's your brother.
Yeah.
And she was in the academy for the sheriff's department.
Right.
So, when we got there, we're thinking, gangster, they shoot each other all the time, man.
Right. So
it changes your whole perspective, and it makes you come back to earth to, it is a person, and it is something that you should take, and it checks you.
Right.
Now you go back to the next one, you're not going to assume it's just another gangster. And it's good. It's good. I think it's good that you get your chain pulled once in a while, because we get tunnel vision on the same thing, gangster killing gangster every night. And there's a lot of jokes about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
definitely.
we see it all the time. And they're killing each other over whatever. After a while, you start to say, these guys are doing it to each other. If they shoot at this neighborhood, that neighborhood's going to get shot at. Right. They're going to just go back and forth until they get tired or run out of bullets. I don't know. But you're picking up bodies over and over and over. Right. You get very cold to it. You get very callous. You just, it's another one.
Yeah, but, like for me, what helped me is seeing him as a person, not as a gangster, not as a crook, not as a crack addict. You're somebody's kid. Mm-hmm. And that's what kind of helped me to push my cases to the limit where I was able to just produce.
But it's good you were in the gang unit first, because you got that.
That was a good experience.
Yeah, it's a good experience.
I would highly recommend a younger officer, if that department has a gang detail. It's a good experience. I did it for 11 years, and we did everything, outside, like you you guys did a little bit of everything outside of homicide, but we almost handled, the homicide cases up to the point, if the guy gets shot, we treat it as a homicide. Once he dies, then homicide takes over. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was a blessing that I did that, because it helped me out.
With death imminent, you're going to hold on till sometimes they die.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, he's probably going to make it. It's yours. And then oh shit, he passed. Right. It could be 2 weeks later. Right. The way I saw guys got in trouble were death imminence, and OSS took it. Mm-hmm. And then they died 2 weeks later. And now homicide comes for that case. And I've seen guys get in trouble where it's, okay, give me your case.
Yeah.
And it's
nothing.
Dude. So if it was, my partners and I had a rule. If it's death imminent, we're going to treat it like a homicide. Crime lab. Right. We're going to do everything they would do. But we're going to do as much as possible. So just in case we have to give it up, he's going to go. Yeah. And that's what, it happened several times to me, where I handed them a packet. And they're like, holy shit.
You got a little bit of everything there. And that's the way, that's the way it should be. I would, tell the younger officers, hey,
do it like that.
Do it as a routine where everything, you can handle. Treat it like if it was a homicide. Mm-hmm.
You can't go wrong, man. You're not going to come short.
It's better to have, have more than not have enough.
Yes.
So
especially if you want to go to that unit.
Yeah. Once you get, used to, treating cases, treating, crime scenes, treating, shooting incidents, treating, interviews.
Yeah.
You do it a certain way, and you won't forget. It's naturally, you'll remember to ask, certain questions.
That's great advice.
One of the things that really helped me, I think what really worked for me is doing the fatherly figure approach. Oh my God, they would tell me everything. Me, because, he's just an old man, and
And you speak Spanish.
I speak Spanish, but I would, treat them like they were my kids. I'm sorry, mijo, I know it happens, it's, things happen for a reason, but right now it's kind of, just important, just, what happened,
Just tell me.
It's not, what's done is done.
Yeah.
Get close to him,
Pat on the back.
Oh yeah,
I get it, bro.
I would be like, right next to me.
I'd confess to you, bro.
Oh, dude. And believe it or not, that took me a long way.
It happens all the time because it's all detectives. Most of the guys are detectives. We got some deputies in here. All good dudes. They all got a great experience. But your style,
Yeah.
your style. If you're not getting confessions or you're not getting information, you need to change your style a little bit.
You got it. You got to see where
what works and what doesn't.
wrong.
And what works, keep it.
And
Just
you know,
keep it.
Adam, we get a lot of training.
Yeah.
We go to interrogative, schools. We have, schools,
Yeah.
that are offered by FBI,
Yeah.
So you're going to have, top-notch, courses, but not all of them are going to work with the situation. Everybody thinks that, okay, I got this experience, or I have this training from X, Y, and Z, I'm going to do it, but all you need sometimes, just from the simplest thing will carry, a longer way. And a lot of the guys don't pick up on it.
The first rule I learned was, and not by being told, by watching, was just let them talk.
Yeah.
Just stop. Don't interrupt them.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt them. Just as soon as they start talking, just let them talk.
You let them.
And you see an opening, and you can figure out how to weasel it in, get your little stuff in there. But talking is the magic.
That's it. You just let them be. Let them talk. I remember, I would come back. I remember we were interviewing a black suspect, and the guy was trying to tell us a story. I had a English partner with me, and the guy's
I met him.
The guy's like, yeah, just talking in slangs. Yeah, woo woo woo, and I wind up, getting my Roscoe and just pulling up on that fool. And when I took off, man, I jammed, man. I booked it, and then I went in the cut, and just when I started hearing things, man, I just went in the cut. So the partner looks at me. He's like, "What's go, well, that means that he hid somewhere.
Yeah.
He found a little hiding spot, and
Yeah.
he did. What was the Roscoe?
That's good.
It's just good, man. So, but I would just let him talk, and then it would be like, hey, so when you were in the cut, what's the deal with the Roscoe, man? Did you get rid of it, or what happened? Oh, no, I kept it, and so I would just have just a simple conversation with him.
Yeah.
But I would, at the right time, I would come back. And I would touch up on things that I need to ask him about this. Hey,
That's it.
I need to
Come
ask
back.
him about that.
Coming back to it. But you have to remember, because you can't write.
You can't.
You can't write. You got to remember what you have to come back to. And if he's talking for an hour, there's a lot of shit to come back to.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to, if you do hundreds of these damn things, it's easy. They'll tell you shit, and you're going, okay, that's my end. And there'll be maybe one or two, and sometimes there's 20.
Right. Oh, yeah. No,
And you let them finish, and then you go back. Hey, when you said this, what happened, or what did you mean?
Right.
And then what you said that. But you let them finish because they think they told you a story that you're just going to believe.
Oh, they'll try to play you.
Yeah,
they'll try to outsmart you.
All day.
Little things like that. It's that you don't get training for that. You
No,
learn
it's
as you
experience.
go. You learn as you go. You learn on the job. But a lot of the guys fail to pick up on that.
Yeah.
A simple thing as a respect, especially when you're dealing with a gangster. It's about respect. I had one of my guys. Two of my guys that I arrested. The quintuple, the biggest one I had. This guy killed five homeless.
What? Wait.
Takes off.
Was this is on the news?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What happened? Well, he was, while they're sleeping, is that the one?
That was it. They were in the tents, So what happened was...
you told me about the tents.
What had happened was...
what happened, dude? When you said, somebody else said that the other day, and they said, what happened was, and I started laughing. Because we used to always... Because they all say, well, what happened was...
Yeah, so this guy, he was a Watts, Compton, Barrio Watts, Vietnam. Yeah, Watts. He had a friend, Samoan friend, on a Wednesday or so. This crackhead goes up to the Samoan friend and tells him, hey, I know where so-and-so is. So-and-so was one of our victims that had, I guess, taken $2,000-3,000 dollars worth of drugs from the Samoan. Never paid him back.
Oh.
So the Samoan, as a retaliation, went up and shot up that dude's home up in, I think it was a Carson area.
Shot his house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So,
okay. See, now I remember this.
Victim takes off, leaves his family behind, takes off, and goes into hiding, with the homeless in a homeless encampment up by the 405 freeway and like just a 710 close by.
Mm-hmm.
So many months go by, they're looking for him, never find him. Crackhead recognizes him, that went into the encampment. Now he goes and tells the Samoan guy, hey, I know where so-and-so is at. So he gets the Compton gangster, to go with him. And the victim, had met a female Samoan who was the sister of the SOS gang. He was the sister. So they were hanging out together, right? When the Samoan tells the crackhead, hey, take me where the guy's at. All right, I'll show you, man. What do I get for it? I'll give you, $50 or so. I'll give you, some crack. Fucking takes him. When they get there, the Samoan just beats the crap out of our victim. They get into a fight, right? So the female Samoan tells him, hey, you got to stop, blah, blah, blah. Don't you know, my brother's so-and-so. And the gangster, the Watts gangster, the guy, basically he's like, I don't care who you are, I don't care who your brother is. And kind of felt disrespected, by the girl because she confronted him. So they tell our guy, we're going to be back on Friday. You better have my money. I think it was $1,000 they were asking him. So sure shit, come Friday, they come back. And this time Samoan was not there. It was the Compton gangster plus, his homeboy. They come up and they went to the original encampment. The victim had relocated across the freeway. So they kidnapped one crackhead, to at gunpoint order him to take him to the new campsite, and he does. When they get there, they find the victim and two females, the Samoan female and another one, in one tent. So they wound up, executing them in the tent, just as they were, just executed them. The guy that they kidnapped attempts to run away. They shoot him, kill him. So that's 4. And then to avoid leaving witnesses behind, they search 2 other tents and they find another transit in his tent. They wind up shooting and killing him. So they leave the bodies behind and they take off.
Damn.
We get one witness that sees them from far away as they're leaving, getting into the car, and we don't have nothing else.
Oh.
So we start, doing the paperwork. Investigation led us to the crackhead that wind up finding the victim. Mm-hmm. So we get on him, and he goes, I don't know who the guy was. It was Compton gangster. He's got Watts on his cheeks. But that's it. I don't know who he is, and I don't think I can identify him. All I remember is just the tattoos. And we started doing the homework on that. My partner starts going through the
cow
gangs, yeah. And we find a guy with the Watts,
mm-hmm.
And but we can't put him there. We don't have a phone number for him. We didn't have anything for him.
You got to put him in the room.
So
Sucks.
we didn't
That's
have
hard.
anything.
That's hard.
So
you got nothing.
Yeah. So
picture's good and the person's good, but you have nothing to put in there.
We had nothing. We just had Watts, and we were able, to pinpoint. Yeah, it's the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
So now the question is, how are we going to link them to the 5, to the 5 homicides? Now we start doing the association. We find out who his closest friend, was. Sheriff's Department comes in because they had at the same time I think somebody else come in and say, hey, I can give you some information on the quintuple. So they're trying to outdo us and, hey, I got something for your case that you guys can't solve. So
it's a little bit of a challenge. I get it.
Yeah, I know. So I remember they came in, and
It's a good challenge, though.
It was a good challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, at the end, it turned out good. So I said, no, we have a guy that's claiming that it's so and so that did it, and it was the Samoan guy.
Yeah.
The original Samoan guy. That wasn't him that did it.
It wasn't.
Yeah, and we tell him, it's not our suspect, but this is our suspect. So now we get the ball in motion. So, okay, well, how are we gonna work up the case? So now we start doing the warrants on them. We catch them up in like in Carson area. OSS does the warrants for us. They pick them up for a gun violation. One guy, the main guy with Watts, he takes off. So we keep the associate, for a probation violation. And now we get more in depth into the investigation. Now we utilize the jail system, for several months, and we get a confession, on the guy. But during the warrants that we did on that suspect, we find some articles of another homicide that happened in Lancaster. Bones found, in the desert, by a dog.
Oh, okay. I know. I went to that one.
So on that deal,
that was in the middle of the that was middle of the desert by trailers and shit.
So my experience, dealing with the gangsters, we know they always keep relics, they always keep trophies, the victims or their cases. So we picked up on that. Why does this guy has a news article of this incident, So we look into it, we go back, and it was handled by sheriffs. He goes, oh yeah, this kid went missing, and somebody, the allegation is this, somebody went and kidnapped him because he owed him $20, worth of weed.
Kidnapped him?
Shot him.
Wait.
No.
How old was the kid?
Like 17.
$20 worth of weed.
$20 worth of weed. He got kidnapped, taken to the desert, shot and killed, and left there. Later on, during our investigation, we go back, to touch up on that homicide, and it turned out that our guy with the Watts was the guy that wound up kidnapping and killing the guy. After the incident was done, he's bragging to his, I think, a sister or a relative, hey, I shot and killed this guy, man. He goes, nah, you're full of shit. No,
said it?
I did, yeah. You're full of shit. No, I'll take you to him. So they go look at the body, and that was the last that we
He told his sister. Mm-hmm. Like, why would he brag to his sister? Was she a gangster?
Just a gangster, yeah.
Okay.
Just a gangster thing, So getting back to our 5 victims, same thing, just bragging. Oh yeah, and I wound up, shooting this girl. Just basically describe in detail how we found the bodies. And yeah, when we got to Old Fool, he was smoking some, he had some pookie on, he was smoking some pookie, and him and the fucking bitch, the woman bitch that was, bad bothering me. She was out there, to the left, and then there was another crackhead out here, and we just got her, and then so in detail.
Damn.
So out of that case, we wound up getting for the 5 homicides that happened in Long Beach, plus the homicide that happened up in Lancaster, area. But this individual, just getting back to the respect thing, the way I talked to him, the way we interviewed him,
they'll tell you stuff.
Him,
they'll tell you.
He had no,
it doesn't help you to be rude or disrespectful. It doesn't help you. So why would you do it?
Right.
And I've seen it done all the time, Hugo. I've not bragged, but I talk shit in here about investigators who shut down the conversation.
Oh, you'll shut them down quick.
But you watch them do it because it's not your case, it's theirs. Because they have your own cases. Like, right. Your partner has a case, I have a case.
But you know what? A good investigator would pick up on that and would interfere. A good partner would pick up on that and would interfere, because it's not about,
it depends on the person. If that person is, if that person's older, been around a lot longer, and is just an ass, I'm sorry, dude. You're not going, hey, bro, let me show you how to do this investigation.
Oh, no. There's certain ways.
There's certain types. You can try, but there's some people you can't talk to, and there's some people I won't even try. I'm just like, oh, dude.
We had
You
some
got
salty investigators
Yeah.
in our end, but
if they're willing recipients, I would help. You might say something. Sometimes they ask, "Hey, do you see anything? Do you want anything? Did you notice anything? Did I miss something?"
Yes,
that's cool. But the other ones are like,
like I got it, I got
I
this,
didn't
I
say
got
anything.
that. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, I get it. We had a few of those, but again, it goes back to you're working for.
Did you guys
for the
have
case. You're
does
working for your victim.
You're trying to get the same outcome. I get it. You have the same mission.
Yeah.
Some people just have different ways of doing it.
And believe me, there's many different ways of doing.
And there's a lot of ways to do it wrong, as many as doing it right. Were you getting the dispensary murders a lot when in Long Beach?
They started. They came in after.
Were you? Did you see the same thing I saw when LA first let dispensaries start happening? It started coming up everywhere.
Yeah.
Did you see the same thing? Because I saw a pattern of dispensary workers just getting wiped out, and not one news van.
Yeah.
Not news vans out in LA, dude. As soon as you put up the tape, there's 12 news vans. There's a line of people trying to find out what happened.
The stringers, out there.
But dispensaries,
yeah,
nothing. It was like a blackout. It was crazy because I'm thinking, well, there's no news vans. I got to come out here and do something. I have a job to do. I walk in the dispensary and there's just bodies lined up, face down, shot in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And I said, how come this isn't a thing? I'm glad because they make a lot of problems trying to get in and out. But I'm wondering, why is it not newsworthy? And then we went to another one. Me and my partner kept going to the same thing. It was happening in LA off of Lennox's area, southbound, and a little bit off of where, not Compton, but Long Beach, North Long Beach, that area.
Yeah.
They were doing a lot of that stuff, and they would call us because the video, of course.
Yeah.
And it was the security guard, 2 workers, and a couple of staff just dusted. And walk outside, and no one's even watching. It happened all the time, Hugo.
You know what it probably was, the politics of it, because back then, that was.
How do you coordinate that? Because that's newsworthy.
Yeah.
Not just a robbery.
Yeah.
Executions.
And I guess because of the politics of the belief, hey, it's illegal or legal,
Whatever side you're on, I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you have that control over the news to say don't go to that.
Right.
Because it was obvious. Because, we get a pattern. Everything you go to in the crime scene is an attraction.
Yeah.
It's the circus. It just becomes a big spectacle.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to big news, that's what they're after. Stringers, alone, they're out there. They're like leeches, out there for
Well, they're trying to sell their bits. I get it. But, dude, nothing.
Yeah. And that, we didn't have too many. I left in 2016, and that was like the beginning of the of dispensaries.
When they started doing
they were going on, but that's when they started to legalize them, or a lot
they
more.
they were giving them more leeway because I remember they were coming up in houses.
Right.
You had a house on Hawthorne Boulevard. You could get a license to sell out of your house.
Right.
And you'd go in to be safe. There'd be, security, kind of like a couple guys standing in the living room. Right. But they're all freaking corpses. Oh, yeah. And the safe's open. And, homicide guys talk to you, and it's always the same. It's one of the workers who got fired or quit.
Yeah, or some of the crackheads that come in, because everything was in that business was cash flow.
Oh yeah, because it can't go in the banks.
Yeah,
but
nothing else was allowed. So there was a lot of money involved. So you find a good dispensary, there's going to be money there. Especially
Always.
Wait till the end of the night.
Yeah,
there's going to be, unless they do a couple.
Why not just rob them? They just kill them all.
Yeah, probably the resistance. Because. Why leave,
witnesses
behind?
Yeah, we're going to get in trouble.
Thing.
They go to North Hollywood or West Hollywood. We go out there because, that's already West Hollywood. Mm-hmm. They have Sally ports. Yeah. They have, you don't go in anywhere.
Well, that was the more modern ones, but,
when they first came up, they were mom and pops. They had Sally ports. They had a waiting room and a window, like a little bank window, and they figured it out. Over in LA, man, they were just selling it off their couch in their living room.
Exactly.
And these guys are just getting dust. It was sad. Because there are a lot of young people in there, like young men and women.
Yeah.
And
just getting a little bit more in depth with that. There's so much money in there. I remember as you know, I learned the HVAC, trade after, and we happen, to work for some dispensaries because that's their bread and butter.
They have to get that. They have to get the smell up.
Get the climate, to a certain
They filter everything.
So it's a lot of money in that. And I remember, rolling up to a warehouse up in Santa Ana, city of Santa Ana. They got the permit, to build the dispensary. And we had, 25-year-olds rolling up in Ferraris and Lamborghinis, We had came in one day and we see a rolled up, Ferrari on the side inside the warehouse. So we're like, what happened? I said, they were racing, they were racing their cars inside and lost control and ate it. But, oh, well.
Money means nothing.
That's the kind of money that was out there.
Yeah.
And that's
when it first started, they were rolling hard.
And that's why, we were getting, all these takeover robberies.
Well, because the gang stepped in.
Yeah.
Before it was just any guy could do it, like you said, because I know people that got into the business as regular Joes. Mm-hmm. But then the gangs came in and ran them out because they were like, I don't want anything to do with that, because they knew where they're going to end up if they stayed in the trade.
That or get taxed on, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I mean. Once they started, oh, shit, we want part of your profits. And what are you going to say?
Yeah. What can you say?
I did a lot of those on the outside after you walked out in the street, just stealing the dope they just bought.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's legal, but it's still dope to me.
No, it's something else, but getting back to the big cases, everything is, everything is different in each case. The way you interview, your suspects, has to do, within yourself, how bad you want the information, how are you going to get it, how are you going to achieve, to get from point A to point B. Never underestimate, the guys that you're investigating.
Yeah,
because they're smart.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think he's just a dumb gangster. We got some of these guys that were brilliant.
A lot of it had to do with age.
Mm-hmm.
Now you talk to the older guys. It's even when you knew.
Yeah.
You walk in a different way. You walk in with the youngsters, different. It's a different attack. Yeah. Older ones, different attack. In the game, out of the game, you have to figure it out before you go. And that's what makes a good investigator, though. You don't walk in there treating somebody who's not in the game like they are,
right,
because you're going to lose it automatically. Somebody who knows the system and knows the game, if they're not invoking, it's because they think they're going to give you something and they're going to get out of it. Like they're going to use it to their advantage.
Right.
The older guys, they're not going to talk to you. Yes. But if they don't invoke and they say, I'll talk to you, or they start talking and you Mirandize them, you're good to go, just start going. He's got an agenda. So you know that. So you know what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to manipulate you,
right,
or the narrative. And you got to fight it. They're
going to try to manipulate you.
It's a chess match. Yeah. And it's cool because I like that challenge.
That's where you got to be, creative. And mm-hmm, that's where, the tools, of the trade, the tools, on your work belt, you got to know what's out there, mm-hmm, what can you use.
But you got to use them all.
You have to.
I've said it in here that I was disappointed with a lot of homicide investigators from my department, mm-hmm, that never came into my doors. So I had Long Beach and Downey and everybody coming to me. And there was guys that never stepped foot in my unit. And how do you investigate?
And that's where that line comes in. Yeah, they just want to say they're from homicide, but not do the work.
Yeah. Because Mark Bloomfield wore us out. Bob Kenny. Oh, yeah. The reason why I know those guys because they lived in my office, because they did it the old school way and got convictions. And now they're looking at, oh, shit, these guys can help me cut my cases in half so I can get onto the really juicy ones and get rid of the ones that I just can get rid of.
Right.
You want to get onto the next one. You don't want to sit, like you said, 5 years. You hear your own voice be played back to you. Yeah. Or, when your lawyer hears your voice being played back to him, right, he's going to look at you and say, dude, take the deal. Yeah. They're giving you 25 years, take the deal. Yeah. They're giving you 30 years, take the deal. Or you're screwed. We're going to go to trial. I got nothing. They're not even going to try to push it. It's done because he's got the best witnesses is their voice. Yeah. It is 100%. We had a list. We knew who never came in our office. Yeah. And I would ask, hey, how do they do? And the guys didn't want to say, but they're like, they really don't solve anything. Yeah.
Well, you know what it is that, that the heart was not in the right place. When you like what you're doing and you want to, produce, You'll do
You-
anything
everything.
that you can, you know.
But I get it, Hugo, too. Sometimes my job didn't come into play. There's nothing they could do that there was nothing I could do for them because it wasn't there. That case wasn't there.
Right.
I get that. There's not every case would come across my desk.
But then you go to plan B.
Yeah.
And you go, you know, you go to the next, you know, stage. Okay, now I couldn't get them, you know, by doing this. How am I going to get them? You know, what am I going to do?
That's the best part, dude. You and I grew up in a place where you had to struggle to walk down the street. You know, you had to figure which way would make it home and not get jumped or messed with. You got to plan your route.
Yep,
if these guys weren't planning on taking the shortest route with tech ops or with the tools, they're going to take the long route, and it's going to go nowhere, dude. Oh, yeah. And I really brag about you a lot because, you know, we came from a place where not everybody makes it to where they want to go.
Right.
And you wanted to be a cop since I remember you. You wanted to be a damn cop, and I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't understand why either.
But we talked. We you know, we grew up together. I mean, if not even grew up, we grew up with each other, like side by side. So I knew your plans, and then when I saw you get to Homicide and you got to gangs and all that stuff, it was awesome because your dream came true. That's amazing. When you said your route and what the job units you worked, the only difference between me is you went to robbery and I went to dope. Yeah. I'm not going to say that I could have went to Homicide because no one knows that. But I didn't want to go to Homicide. Yeah. So maybe they didn't want me anyways, but I never applied because I thought, like, you knew. You're 24/7, bro. Yeah. At certain units you go to, well, this is stupid because the unit I went to was 24/7 too, but I didn't have to wear a suit. Yeah. And I didn't have to go to court much.
Yeah. And you know what? Getting back to that, it's a 24/7, you know, job. You got to have, you know, strong mind, a strong, you know, stomach for it. You have to have a strong support.
Oh, yeah.
To that job. That's one of the things that I was blessed, you know, with my family. You know, they understood.
Yeah.
You know, they knew, you know, it came 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, I got the phone calls, like, okay, you know, how many.
You get the phone, they go like this too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would come in, you know,
yep.
there's
handed to you.
a couple of times that I walk in, you know, from not being home for 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, come in, rest for an hour, I get the phone call again, and here we go again.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's what I'm talking about. With your job, you could not say, I can't go, because it's probably somebody in custody or some evidence that's popped up where you got to act now.
Right.
You know, every other unit can say, tomorrow. They're going to call you from Lancaster during your lunch or your birthday, and they're going to say, hey, they just hooked your guy in Lancaster. You know, and as well as I do, you got to start my shit. Yeah. You got to get Adam involved, or you got to get your shit in Long Beach.
Right.
And you got to activate, you got to set loose the hounds to get this guy locked into where you need him, because it's going to make your life more simple in the future.
Oh, yeah.
But that giving up your time, Hugo, people don't understand it, dude.
No, they never will. And
Thanksgiving 2 days later, Christmas 2 days before.
New Year's Eve.
The life is what it is, and we've all accepted it. And I'm complaining. Yeah. We accepted it, but your family has to accept it too.
Yeah, to be successful, you got to have that support. Because if not, you know, that job will break you. You don't have the support, and
we know those guys, and a lot of guys don't survive it.
And you know, thinking back, the only thing that I would have changed, because I did very, very little time in patrol. You know, it was like 3 years or so. I did about 10 and a half years in gang investigations. I did about a year in robbery, and then the rest in homicide, which was 11.
It's a great career.
It was a beautiful career.
If you set a path, that's the path I would say.
Oh yeah,
that's a great path, man. I mean, you just said, oh hell yeah, that's the best trail I'd like to follow right there. It's perfect.
For a younger patrolman, that's the perfect one.
It's perfect.
You know, I would have thrown in, you know, a couple more investigative details, you know, when I was in gangs, maybe did, you know, 5 years in gangs, and then another 5, you know, break that in half and do 2 more details just for the experience.
Yeah.
You know, homicide is perfect. Perfect opportunity, you know, in the 10 years, that's when you know if you're good or not.
Yeah.
You know, the first 5 years, you ain't gonna know.
No.
You know,
I get it.
The first case that you handle, you think that, you know, hey, I hit a home run with this one, and I'm good, and I am, you know, above everything.
There's a lot of reality checks when you become like a detective that high up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, I ain't shit, because things just don't work out all the time.
Oh no. And with the other cases, with the other details, you could safely say, okay, I'm doing okay, I'm doing good, because things move quickly. You pick up a case, you present it to the DA's office, you go to court, and within 6 months, you know the outcome.
Yeah.
With a homicide case, you present a case, and sometimes it'll take you about a year, to solve it. You present it, to the DA's office, and when it goes through the transition, before you know it, it's 5 years before you go to, a jury trial.
Yep.
And almost everything goes to a jury trial.
Yeah.
So that's when you know what mistakes you did, 5 years ago, and you're not going to realize it.
Yeah. I was in homicide. I was OSS for 11 years, 10 years. Only you know your holes.
Yeah.
Like, because you live and breathe that case. You get it from when it's born all the way to adjudication. Right. You know every piece of that thing. It becomes ingrained in your skull of, okay, these are my weaknesses and these are my strengths. And a lot of the weaknesses is going to be your witnesses and some stuff that went on. Sometimes it's your deputies and something they wrote, and it might be something they didn't write right.
Right.
When you get in that stand and you're testifying, because you're last, and then as an expert, I was last or second to last, because I do the 186.22 is the expert testimony on the gang allegation. Right. You know when you get up there what you don't want to hear. Please don't ask me this. Please don't ask me that. And they never did.
Right.
And I would always say this to everyone else. You know your holes, but they don't.
Right.
Because they're magnified with you, because you know, and it's not something illegal or something. It's a question. Though. It's questionable. And then and all you're thinking about is, I got him, and he did it. I know he did it. That's why I went to the end with this. But I know how the jury can be muddied up by something that could be a weak part of your case. A witness said something that might be looked at 3 different ways. They were trying to tell the truth, but maybe they're confused. But that little statement could confuse the heck out of the people in the box and just throw everything to mistrial. It can do it, or not mistrial, but a hung jury.
Correct.
Or you mistrial sometimes. but so you know it. And I remember being at the end and going, oh my God, how did they not see that? And these guys are, attorneys in college. I'm high school educated. I went to the same high school you went to.
Right.
So they didn't teach us shit.
We barely passed.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't even know if I did pass. I just walked out. The thing about it is, that's what I try to tell when I was training the new OSS detectives. I said, just fit up what you can fit up and let the jury figure out the rest, because don't bend things to try to plug your holes, because you're always going to have holes.
Always. No matter what. And you know what? Thinking back, it's certain cases, you could get away with that. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the homicide case, as a new investigator, you're not going to know, what's going to be expected to you, what's going to be expected for the case to go through. You might think, hey, I have 2 good pieces of evidence. I'm good. A good attorney, a good DA attorney will take that and run, and will get a conviction. But once that's moving up in ranks, to have that status, they'll muddy up your case, and will know how to do it.
That's all they have most of the time. Is how can I convince one juror that it's not to convict? That's all you need is one.
And I could think of my very first case that I handled. It was a cold case, that my partner had started, and I wound up finishing it. And with this one, it was small little scenario. It was a bar incident. My victim had borrowed some money from our suspect. Suspect demanded his money back. He was kind of like a loan shark. He would lend money out, and in return for collateral, he would ask for whatever you have of value, whether it was jewelry, whether it was vehicles. So my victim decided to pay him back with a vehicle. Suspect was unhappy because the vehicle was, I guess, salvage title, and thought that it was, not worth the amount of money that he had loaned out.
Yeah.
So, to jump ahead, they had a dispute over that. One day, the suspect and a friend went over to a bar, and they're drinking with, not with the victim, but they see him, so they confront him. one thing led to another. They got into a physical altercation, which led into our victim getting shot. Guy takes off immediately, to Arizona, and nobody saw anything at a bar, Hispanic bar.
Yeah.
I was there, but I didn't see anything.
Typical.
Very typical. So I had to work around, all of those little obstacles. So I got around to finding a good witness. That the suspect had somewhat confessed. Yeah, I did it, and I'm going to take off. So I ran with that. I did, my follow-up investigation. Tracking his movement, tracking his money, tracking everything. So we had a good circumstantial. Never did find the vehicle that was given to the suspect. Never found any documentation of him, having it. The experienced attorney that filed the case said, we could do it. We could do it. With just circumstantial. We have, a couple of witnesses. Putting the victim, and the suspects together at the bar. We have them, having an issue, but nobody, wanted ID. The suspect has the shooter. We have, phone records. On the following day, tracking, the suspect, leaving from Long Beach, to Arizona. We really have somewhat of the loan shark, activities. We have, other witnesses, also going back to confirming, there was a deal done, and our star witness, which, got a statement from the suspect, good enough, go to trial. And the DA that handled the case just thought that it was, okay, well, it's kind of easy. We'll do this, we'll do that.
Took it easy.
And took it easy. Unbeknownst to me, thinking, this is your job. You know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing, so I won't interfere. And boy, that bit us in the butt. We lost the case. The guy was found innocent, so
lesson
learned. Never again did I
assume that it was going to be locked in.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a little bit here. I work court services, as a bailiff. So I watch the process of the attorneys, like you're just talking about, confidence and all that stuff. The process with the LA County Sheriff's, LA County District Attorney's Office is there's a calendar DA. Mm-hmm. Every morning when you go to work, they go through the calendar. Just what they'll do is just schedule hearings and do little things, maybe some little discovery stuff. So the whole morning is that.
Right.
Then you'll go to pre-trials, and that's usually a couple hours.
Right.
And the afternoon is usually a trial. And you continue trials day by day. So the jury might not come until after lunch, or maybe before lunch. So that calendar DA has been there a long time because he's a calendar DA. Mm-hmm. He's in charge of all the cases. The new deputy DAs, they're deputies too. They come in, they're brand new, green as hell. Mm-hmm. They'll do like the little pre-trials in the morning. They'll get a little here and there, and they'll get the trials. The newer DAs get the trials, not the seasoned DAs, unless you're going through gang. The gang DAs, they have specific. But the regular calendar DA, calendar court, that DA is the newest DA usually. What really bothered me, and I talked to my judge about it many times because he was a DA. I said, I don't understand the process. As soon as this guy gets good, because I was just there for years, and he's doing well, and all of a sudden he becomes a calendar DA, or he becomes some kind of special DA, and they take him out. So the next new DA starts all over. So their experience is never in the trial. The trial is it's the youngest DA most of the time,
right,
with no experience. And I understand they have to get experience,
right.
But you just brought a case to somebody, and I've done it where I go, this is a slam dunk, man. This guy did it, and they just screw it all up. Yeah. I mean, horrible. Where I'm telling the DA, I'm writing ask these questions. Right. And you don't want to do that because you assume that, he's got the college education. Like we said, we went to a crappy high school. I don't know shit.
Right.
But I know my case, and I know what you can ask and what you can't. But I'm watching this process, and I told the judge, you guys got to fix that because you got to keep your experience in the trials. Right. Because you're spending all this money on adjudicating, because you know what it takes to get somebody in the seat. It's an act of God, because they want to dispo it all the way through.
Right.
I know homicide, they don't usually take deals because it's homicide. Right. But some, they'll try for the lesser included. They want the second or the manslaughter. You know, they're always trying to lessen the first down to something. I get that. There's always plea deals. There's always conniving and shit going on. Dude, that's some crazy stuff. They'll go play golf over shit, make decisions over golf. So what you're saying is exactly what I saw. The problem with the DA's office was, first of all, the filing DA is in trouble because no one's a filing DA unless you're in trouble.
Or on your way out.
On your way out.
To retire.
But nobody on the way out to retire is the filing DA unless you got in trouble as a guy going out, because that job sucks. Right. They'll take care of you if they know you're an old guy and you're leaving. They don't do anything for the next year. Get out of here. That guy filing hates life, dude. I've never met a happy one. And I know we filed the same, because we filed the same, even different departments, we filed with the same guy.
I'm laughing because I just had a mental picture of the grumpiest DA, older guy that was on his way out, trying to file a case. It would be miserable to go file a case,
You knew it was a fight every time because he doesn't want to file shit. He's pissed off. Everybody hates him. He hates everybody. And that's the guy that's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And then you get past him and it goes to court. Well, the DA in there is trying to calendar court, trying to get rid of it, and even up to trial, they're trying to get.
For the most part, you're right.
The jury will be picked. I'm like I said, I worked as a bailiff. They're making deals when the jury's in the box. Mm-hmm. And I've done it. I've seen it where jury's in the box, they're picked, they give them a deal, and the judge has to tell the jury, you're dismissed. Because they made that last sweetheart deal, right? And I did murders all the time because I was 9th floor long cost, so we had murders all the time.
Correct.
That last deal, and now the jury's going home, and everybody goes home. It's done. There's so much shenanigans going on, bro. Well, thanks for coming on, Hugo.
Okay. Anytime.
I ambushed you.
You did.
You thought you were just going to come by and have a water, but I say, sit in the seat, boy. Thanks for coming out, brother.
Anytime.